Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. I had debated showing the accounts that reached out to me, but I thought, I don't think that's necessary for this video. And look, sometimes I try to be hopeful and optimistic, and I record videos talking about how I want the future of this game to last another 10 years. And there are people who comment, you've sold out, you're a Kabam, junkie, you're a Kabam hipster, you're too loyal to a company, you realized you need the revenue. And I'm like, no, nothing's changed, I just have hope. And the other times I'll look at this and say, this is absolute trash, this is a horrible idea, and people will say, oh, here he's back to being Mr. Negative, he just loves to complain about the game. So I guess I'm doing something right if in the span of 7 days I get accused of both being too hopeful and too critical in the same week. This video is kind of like that. Because from my perspective, on paper, with my roster, I have had the smoothest week of Battlegrounds ever. Only one time in the history of my account have I won this many matches in a row, and I would say about half of those were in 3 rounds. This is the only time you will ever see in the history of my account 0 losses in any rounds going back 6 days ago. And some of these players are real good players, like this guy. He's a legend. And unfortunately, I cost him a chance to go to Diamond 2 because he was 1 win away and got matched up against me. And I just played really well. And I had a combination of Omega Sentinel on defense. He didn't have a good Cosmic counter, so Joe Fixit clearly didn't work. And then he had a fantastic counter for Rintra. I thought we'd go 3 rounds, and I had Absorbing Man left after this, and I was thinking I'll probably win it in 3 rounds. And then my Hulk stun-locked Kingpin and won by a fairly comfortable margin if I hide my webcam in about 4,000 points. But for every person who is looking at this, there are people who are looking at nothing but red. As in 8, 12 losses in a row. The record currently, and if anybody in the comments can beat this, let me know, is 18 losses in a row. 18. That's more than a full American football season worth of games. All losses. The opposite of the 1972 Miami Dolphins. So, I think this is a reflection of a couple things we're going to talk about in this video. And apparently I'm getting emotional because I'm getting all choked up thinking about it. The first thing is, this is a reflection of July 4th. This is a reflection on the July 4th economy of the game, where people went from, in terms of rank 3 6 stars, and now, like my man Kickrocks, he's got double-digit rank 2 7 stars. Because he's awesome and smart, and I only have 3 rank 2 7 stars because I've chosen to do something kind of bold, and that is start with my 6 stars. And I still believe that. And I probably should make a video on that because it's been a while. But I would rather rank up a 6 star to rank 5, especially one that's SIG 200, than rank up an unawakened 7-star champion. Now, I like my 7-star roster. But before July 4th week sales, I think most people at the top had 3 rank 5 6 stars. Some people had 1, some people had 2. But the difference between 1 and 3 is not that much. But now, there's 2 things that are completely changing Battlegrounds, besides Kabam saying publicly, and we'll see because people have called their bluff on this, whether or not they're going to punish people who point farm and stay in like Plat 2 and Plat 1 and force quit or just don't try, in order to maximize the amount of points that they get not only for the solo milestones but also for their alliance with these extra rewards incentives this month. But besides that, see how I have 1 ascended 6-star? Well, there are people who already have 2. Because the other thing that is changing the economy of the game is that if you're willing to spend 320 American dollars every month, or 80 American dollars a week, which of course also means you're in a position to have a lot more disposable income than quite a few people, you can do, and like in theory, I could ascend my next 6-star if I was to purchase both of these. Because you can see for the $40, I have not one but 2 weekly available purchases, because of course I haven't bought them this week. And it is Tuesday, time recording this. So, you have people who used to have competitive rosters with the top players before July 4th week that couldn't afford all of the best offers. So they saw somebody like me, some scrub, some noob, go from 3 rank 5 6-stars to 15 while they stayed at 3. And now they're getting matched up with people who have not 1 but 2 ascended 6-stars. And if those people already have 2 ascended 6-stars, they probably trained their brains to buy that offer I just showed twice a week. So every month, they're going to get another ascended 6-star. And so the gap in rosters between the top and the middle is just going to widen. And that's going to give players who don't spend more of a chance, all things considered equal, to lose. And when those losses pile up, your love of the game goes down, your confidence in yourself goes down. I think this is the worst possible battle mode for your mental health. Battlegrounds is destroying players' mental health because they think they're good at the game and they think they love the game. And they might have easily explored 8.3. Not saying that's a huge accomplishment, because I do think it was a gift from Kabam to get people to keep playing, given how few paths there were this time and how the difficulty, especially with the right relics, was so easy compared to past acts, even Act 6. But let's say you just think, I'm one of the best players, I've got one of the best rosters, and then every time you go into Battlegrounds, you lose. Suddenly you feel like you're a fraud, and you don't know who to blame. You don't know if you could blame your wallet because you haven't spent enough. You don't know if you want to blame yourself because maybe your skills aren't as good. Maybe the internet's connection's bad. There's just a number of factors. And so I'm not speaking for myself in this video, because in terms of my relaxation in Battlegrounds, yeah, it's at an all-time high. But when I take a step back and I think about the average growing player that doesn't have a YouTube channel where they can take revenue and pour it back into the game, and when also they haven't maybe played the game as long and don't have as much to show for it because they were not around for years of whale holidays like I was, it's just left this reality where the game has always felt like a second job, but now that second job is beating the player's mental health down. And they're left just feeling like they're having to ask themselves, why do I even play this game anymore? And that's right before Cyber Week and gifting, or whatever the heck they're going to call it this year. That's not a place Kabam wants those players to be. So overall, this has been a mind-opening week of hearing from players, and I've heard from at least 3 players who have lost streaks of 8+. And if I'm hearing from them, that's just a small microcosm of what's going on in the larger context of this community. So I appreciate those of you that reached out. I'm sorry you're going through this. I hope it turns around. But Battlegrounds, it's just the highs and the lows for mental health have never been a bigger swing. And it's starting to really take its effect on players that feel like they just can't compete anymore. And quite frankly, I don't blame them.